So anyway, the tomorrow... Whoa,
hey, what's up, dude?
I am from the future. Why do you look so young? Yeah, this, fruit roll-ups, keep eating them. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and of course, ridiculousness. And we're talking about a sci-fi movie that's coming out this Friday on Amazon Prime. Chris Pratt, aliens, all of this, and it's called The Tomorrow War. A man is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront his past. So is this new Tomorrow War scratch that sci-fi itch for all of you sci-fi fans? Let's find out, but before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you thought of the Tomorrow War. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you realize that tomorrow never comes? That's a joke. Ha 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 ha. Let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's get into some of the good. The Tomorrow War, right off the bat. I mean, the idea here is fascinating. I liked it. I mean, it's been done before, time travel, all of that stuff, but the idea of the world is going to essentially be extinct in X amount of years. I believe it's 28 to 30 years, and they need to go back in the past, rip people out, and take them into the future to fight. I love that idea, and the way that they kind of set that up and everything is fascinating, especially with kind of some of the rules that they drop in there with the people that they recruit and essentially draft into this future war. Like, I right there from a sci-fi perspective, because I am into sci-fi. I like sci-fi movies. I was on board with that idea. But one thing that completely was like, oh, that's so cool, is the design of the aliens in this movie. And I don't really remember if they showed it in the trailer, so I won't entirely spoil it. But the first time that they show up, I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is unique and whatnot. And it's not just kind of the design, but the way that they interact with environments, the way that they move, the way that they attack, the certain kind of skills and whatnot that these alien beasts have, I was on board for. I mean, it's by far the best part of the movie. Again, the way that they kind of have to fight off against these aliens, but the way that they have to really maneuver because the way that they move and the way that they're using weapons, I was like, oh, this alien design is cool, and the way that they interact is awesome. However, holy banana hammocks, Batman, it had some cool lore up front of taking people from the past, putting them in the future, and fighting and whatnot. But my lord, is that idea completely shat on throughout essentially this whole movie. We don't get really into kind of the logistics, the day-to-day life, how all of this works, or we're not entirely shown that. Instead, it is very much explained away via a lot of exposition dumps from the beginning, middle, end. What is that? Who is that? Who are we fighting? Go off and do this. Like, they had an idea here that from my point of view was really interesting and cool. They completely failed on setting up this idea of, again, showing how they're going off into this war and fighting these things. Like, you think that it's going to follow one path and completely takes a different avenue, and again, just kind of explains things away. Why time travel works this way, or why this person was drafted and not this person. And it just feels like at a certain point, you're taking this grandiose idea and very much putting it into this box of these really kind of bland rules as it continues to move on from the rest of the movie of the characters. I mean, Chris Pratt at the forefront is probably the only character we really get to know, aside from his very small family that is around him. Anyone else is Random Soldier 1, Pedestrian 2, Random Person Behind a Computer 3, and the thing is, they almost want us to kind of be emotionally attached to these characters, because if there's conflict, or if someone's maybe in danger, maybe they're not gonna make it, I do not care. I do not give a shit about that person because I don't even know their name. And that was the problem, is there are several times in this movie of something potentially happening to someone, or they're ramping up the tension, and you're supposed to care. I'm assuming that that's what the script and the director and the filmmakers were going for, but you do not care about anyone in this movie aside from Chris Pratt at the forefront. I mean, there's a handful of people that do have bigger names that are around him. You do not give a shit about them at all. Like, the relationship management in this movie, or the relationships of the people, is so paper thin. And the way that their dialogue bounces off of one another, again, if it's not exposition driven and heavy and tries to explain certain parts of the movie, you do not care about the dialogue, because it just feels like it's very kind of generic soldier talk. Like, it doesn't feel like there's, you know, maybe a soldier that's a side character that maybe has an interesting point of view. They don't focus on him, and it just feels like logic is a little bit kind of thrown out the window of, why don't you make that person the leader, because they've done this several times, rather than the main character, Chris Pratt, be the leader, who is literally a fish out of water in this context of the future war. The Tomorrow War is just sort of misstep after misstep. Again, from the idea and it not landing, to a lot of exposition, to the paper-thin relationships and not really caring about the characters. The way that they crafted this movie was just clunky. It's jumping from scene to scene with really no rhyme or reason as to why they are going to this scene. Go with the flow, you know, now we're showing you this, now we're showing you that, instead of really kind of piecing this together in a way that makes sense. Instead of, you know, woo, it's like, it just feels like you're just throwing googly glop scenes at me, because it goes from 45 minutes of an opening that is so bland, so boring. It took about 45 minutes for the movie to really ramp up for myself. But then after that, it's just like, wait, we were just here. Now we're at this scene. Why are we here? And why are we doing what we're doing? And it just seems like, again, not only the relationships were paper thin, but the plot points and jumping from plot point to plot point and really figuring out kind of what the main crux of this scene was very bland. At the end of the day, felt like a higher budget, made for Sci-Fi Channel TV movie. A lot of the acting is not great, the dialogue's not great, the structuring, when they're throwing in a lot of essentially stock footage of fighter jets and soldiers and, you know, cityscapes and whatnot, I'm just like, is this like a Transformers movies? What's going on here? But the one almost cherry on top, I said the alien design is cool, and it is, but a lot of the alien stuff is very poor CGI, where the way that they're moving through the city after our soldiers, it feels like a TV movie. It doesn't feel like the vehicles or the aliens or the explosions or the fighter jets are even on the screen. And maybe this is just my TV, I don't know, but I was like, oof, this is rough. For essentially a big budget movie, this is coming off as very paper mache budget type stuff. Overall, the Tomorrow War has a great idea that completely shit the bed. With it again having that cool idea of the future war and some awesome alien designs, but with everything being explained away via exposition, paper thin plot, relationships, dialogue, clunky editing. It is rough, people, and some poor CGI, which I'll give a pass or whatever. I would say skip out entirely on the Tomorrow War. I mean, from the trailer and the idea, it's like, ooh, this sounds interesting. It does not live up to any of that at all. Like I said, 45 minutes to even get the movie started, and it's just very kind of pieced together, like, it's a rough one. Skip out, people, for the Tomorrow War. In closing, I'm going to give the Tomorrow War 1.7 out of 5 alien creatures. So what did you all think of the Tomorrow War? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you have no rhyme or reason to see this movie now because you're actually listening to me? Let me know. I don't know why I pointed down in the comments down below, because maybe I'm in the minority here. You know, it's coming out this weekend, so maybe people are going to love this film. Anyways, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there. You know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. Follow this channel, like this video, follow all of my social media, including TikTok and the JBuck Shorts YouTube channel. Shorter form, bite-sized content. Go and check that out. Like this video, subscribe to this channel once again, and until next time, we'll see you later.